Hi, my name is Carol Kysar. I'm the Library and Preservation Manager of the museum. I'm going to tell you some stories and show you some photos of downtown Main Street in Bastrop. I'm not going to talk about the historical buildings. You can see them when you come to visit us. Instead, I'll be telling you a couple of stories about things that happened on the street itself over the past 185 years. Downtown Bastrop is 2 blocks long from north to south. It's always been 2 blocks long and will likely stay that way since it is bordered on both ends by historical homes. I've indicated downtown by a heavier black line. You can see from this map that it's about a block east of the Colorado River. The Colorado River itself is the source of many lifestyle events and stories, but those are for another time. Yes, Bonnie and Clyde. In the early to mid-1930s, one of our citizens, Dutch Wertzner, was driving home to Bastrop from his work east of town when his car broke down. Bonnie and Clyde picked him up, dropped him at the courthouse, that's the end of the southern block, turned around, went back 1 block on Main to Chestnut, East-West Street, and headed for Austin, per Dutch's recounting of the tale. That's our only connection to the national crime scene in the 1930s that I know of, and, except for a couple of politicians, they were the most notorious visitors. There's no good reason for me to include this photo, except that I love it so much. The woman didn't seem to be especially enjoying her treat at our very old drugstore, but maybe she was just deep in thought about the good old days, or maybe her visit was just a habit and actual enjoyment had long since passed. My husband and I certainly enjoyed our 10-year habit of visiting every Wednesday afternoon for a $1 ice cream cone before the drugstore was closed a couple of years ago. This is the corner of Main and Chestnut, looking at the northern block of downtown. My favorite corner. Why? Well, it's the biggest corner in town, and it's so full of lifestyle changes, cultural changes, and events. Chestnut used to be the road to Austin. It's the road Bonnie and Clyde headed west on in the early 1930s. Besides this claim to fame, there used to be a flagpole right in the middle of the intersection. This photo showing the flagpole appeared in 1920 on the cover of the Interstate Index. You can see the flagpole in the center of the street. And this is a painting owned by the Hyatt Resort Hotel and taken from a 1925 photo of Main Street, possibly the 4th of July or maybe Memorial Day. We have newspaper accounts of parades that started here, parades that ended here, speeches made here, and auto accidents, as you might suppose. I've not been able to find out when the flagpole was erected. It was not enough parade photo of 1901 that I can see. I do have current information from a 104-year-old woman born in Bastrop that the flagpole was there when she returned from university in 1933. She said the pole kept people from cutting the corners and turning left. Dutch never said if Clyde cut the corner as he headed west. Here's another photo from May 1942 of the same intersection. Looks to me like the street is still dirt. However, the flagpole has been replaced by a traffic light. The soldier on the right kind of looks like my Uncle Alan from Wichita, Kansas. He trained at Camp Swift among many, many others. But I doubt this is really him, just kind of reminds me of him. Our museum is located at the southern end of Main Street, and it has its own special history. When you come to Bastrop, be sure to stop by. I know you'll enjoy it and appreciate it. If you come on a day that I'm here, stop by to see me.